and Khartoum is being favored, and the agreement of Khartoum was done in Juba. Why does United States favor Khartoum more than us? What is it? Why are they doing this? What do you think they are doing this? Is it because Khartoum is the base of terrorists, of Islamic radical terrorists, or what? They are not with us, the United States. You see? And if we were a part of what these people are saying, we would find another avenue of relationship in the world. The world is large. And there are people out there who can cooperate with us. But we are staying put, asking the United States to forgive us. Forgive us for what? The whole thing is actually the interest, a compound interest, a mutual interest of give and take the United States. In international relationship or politics or law, there is no country little than another country. You are equal, and when you actually get understanding together, you cooperate to pick your own interests in return, and so on. This is a game of give and take and a game of relationship in order to benefit equally. Why are we running after the United States when they are sanctioning us up to now? And to our own politicians that are going back to back the United States, and some of them here go and talk about democracy as if democracy or freedom is owned by the United States or Europe. Are they the owner of freedom? Were we not free as Africans when we were born? We are more free than them. What is it that is it in their custody that they are the one that opened the door of democracy? We can have our own African democracy, by the way, and our own African way of making elections. But we are not up to what we are. So you can see, how can the United States, and we are a Christian country like this, favor Khartoum than us, and lifted all the sanctions against Khartoum, and continue the sanction in South Sudan. And we are, and our people are starving to death. Our people are in their custodies as displaced people inside the country. Our people are refugees. Our people have no means of life. And yet, they are not sympathetic. What do you think it is? And our people think that these are the people who will change us, who will victimize us, who will bring them the power to rule us. It cannot be like this. So, what I think is that everybody must come in so that we work out, we negotiate, we do our constitution, and fight for freedom, to be free. Thank you. Shukran.
Shukran, Victor. Shukran, Victor.
So you are there. That is what I can say.
نشوف الفرصة يا جماعة شكرا جدا.
Not Kurta, I'm trying to help here by suggesting a couple of stuff that may be helpful to others and the general public of South Sudan.
Yeah.
Uncle Aldo, once again, my name is Maduranyar Madu. The suggestions I'm making here, and you moderators, the questions you are asking Uncle Aldo here are Anyar Matoli Dan.
Tony.
Anyar Matoli.
Anyar was my classmate from intermediate school. Continue.
Yeah, the suggestion I'm making here is that some of the questions you are asking Uncle Aldo do exactly the way.
Wilson,
All right. طبعا انا عيان يومين ده وفي زول كان فتح الميكروفون
Yeah,
حقه عشان
sorry.
هسه تمام؟ All right. So the moderators are asking Uncle Eldo here about things that happen, things that are irrelevant to our current situation. Please, let's leave them behind and let's discuss what is happening currently and what is affecting us now, as well as the root causes of our current conflicts that have been turned into ethnic lines. If we go to the current problems that have been turned to ethnic lines between Nuer and Dinka, then let's reflect to what had happened in the past, in early 80s, when SPLA joined with Anyanya 2 and the differences, and how the fight broke out between them and led to the killings of innocent civilians in the villages. Things like this. There are people who have more inside information rather than Uncle Eldo, who was in Khartoum, but there are people, and they are members of the Council of Elders as well, who have seen the actions done in the past. And those people should also be brought. And if you are giving Uncle Eldo a Joe hard time, like bringing him like today, and 2 days later on, this is the country as well. Besides, I believe we have a spokesperson of GM Council of Elders. I don't think Uncle Eldo is the spokesperson in this case, you know. And the people that I am thinking who have seen things that happen in Ethiopia and mashakil that happened between Equatorians and Dinka, and how those people, the Dinka board, ended up in Nimule area and other parts of Equatoria, they are there as members of GM Council of Elders, namely Makere Lual is there. Another person is and Uncle Majak Dow is another person who is there. So please try to reach them as well, and then they will be off.
This is where a lot of people are in the Toronto himself. So as a result, before we open the door for the questions, I would like to ask Uncle Aldo to build on the same question that was asked by Michael Christopher. There is this confusion that is happening after the survey that was done by the member of the SPLM, that there is a fail in leadership and loss of the vision. And this song has been echoed by the member of the SPLM themselves, like those of Pakana Moms and Nyaba, where they tend to blame GEC. And it's quite confusing to a lot of people. So what us through from, in your own words, what actually happened? Is it a complete failure in leadership or the loss of vision?
Well, with them now, the big area of operation is actually focused on the members of political bureau of the SPLM, who actually differed in March 2013 on who will contest elections in 2015, Salva Kiir or anybody or another person. And in the meeting of political bureau, they decided to nominate themselves, not nominated by anybody. Although they should have been aware that the nomination of who contests for a party comes up in a convention and confirmed by Liberation Council like ours. They ignored that, and each one came up and in their own meeting, chaired by Salva Kiir. Young Machar was there, Waniga and so on, Pagana Mo, and so on. And each one came up to say, I shall contest. That was very, very careless the way of running a party. And that one it should actually be an area of disqualifying those politicians who are speaking now, because Pagan himself nominated himself for 2015, and also Madam Rebecca nominated herself, and Young Machar, of course, nominated himself. And this crawled into larger conflict. At the end, the group were removed from the government in July 2013, and the group, and of course they had to call extraordinary convention. We came, and they have proposal to transform the SPLM into democracy, but they failed, and that ignited the war. We take them as they really caused that leadership, political bureau of 2008, elected by convention 2008. That political bureau is responsible for all these crises. And this is what we pin down. We have so much pin it down and subject it to very strong evidence. They cannot get out of it. Even if they go around and touch that and all that, that is where things went wrong. And from that, the whole thing in life, and we are now in all these crises. What happened after the fought there? The fall on the communities. Of course, Salva is a Denka, Young Machar is Nuer, and others. You can count the 53 parties. 53 are all based on ethnicity. If anybody has ideology out of SPLM, let that person tell you what is the ideology of a given party, like IO, what is it? And others like real SPLM. SPLM. What is it? It is SPLM. So this is what we dwell on in order to do what? To relieve ourselves from the accusation. We were being accused to be running the government. As human also, we have got to disprove that these politicians are lying. And we have actually proved it beyond reasonable doubt that they were the ones. After they got into negotiation and signed the agreement and fixed themselves back into the government on the same place. We are not wrong anymore. We are right. Because we have proved that. Having done that one, we are telling people to relax the situation, because things are very clear. How the war was caused, how it was fought, how it actually came to be ended, and who was who in the whole thing, and who is who, who is who now in the transition. This is a very simple proof. It's not complicated. Very straightforward. So we are not in any way influential, and we are not even now influential or reckoned with by the state. We are still on our own, and we feel that we fought long, and we are actually people who are committed to to our independence and our flag. But the agreement that was signed in Khartoum with all our suspicion, because all these fighters got developed from Khartoum and given guns by the same Khartoum to come and change things with us here. So we are saying that in spite of the fact that it was signed by Khartoum with some kind of intention to weaken South Sudan much further in order to fail, يعني ربنا معنا. يعني خرطوم شنو هسه؟ Where is خرطوم؟ يعني ربنا بتاع الجنوب ده أقوى. فنحن ليه ما نرجع ونشوف عندنا شنو في انتفاضية ده؟ لو نحن فعلا دارين نصنع and actually form a strong country. شنو أقلنا في انتفاضية ده؟ أنا بفتكر انتفاضية ده يعني wanted to disadvantage South Sudan. جاب جيشين ما مشى وهسا جاب militias until SPLA that بقى militia and they want to form a new army. See? And with that, if they were really nationalists, what is the difficulty? Why they spent 3 or 4 years without forming the national army? يعني شنو؟ لكن هسه مختلفين في ناس دايرين 50 يعني و50 بتاع سالفا كير 55 بيشوفوا بالنظاره بتاع انه دينكا. Things cannot go like that. Things should be national based. فهنا أنا بفتكر عنه there is a lot being missed on national platform. Our national platform, people have actually stepped back to their own ethnicity, their own communities, and they have left the national zone empty. The Salva Kiir is there, and most of them are speaking their own tongue of coming from Equatoria, coming from Upper Nile, coming Wayne, and we are not saying we are just Denka. We are saying that look here, we are elders, and we come from Denka. We are not claiming really to be identified with the state, no. And this one, we prove it in the national dialogue. We said what kind of federalism we want. If we base our federalism on ethnicity, what will happen to us? Because now we don't trust one another. And if we actually base ourselves into ethnicity, in which a state identifies with the Denka, with Baria, with whatever it is, how will it work? We said that we took away Khartoum kind of centralization, because the centralization is centralization actually. Lanu, Khartoum, the commissioners, the governors are called Wali. They actually represent the center, not the people, the rule in their state. And this is what we took away. We took away something wrong. And we want to correct it. And to correct it, we go to history of people who governed us for 57 years. The British, who actually created local government in the pattern of United Kingdom, the Scottish, English, Wales, and so on. And they actually based the local government councils and cities to be the strongest kind of government in the base, to the people of the base of that area. And they actually determine it in territorial, not really ethnicity, because if a Scottish is in England, people don't actually say, why are you here? And if English is in Scotland, the same thing. And, and we want that one to happen with us. We want a federalism where we actually forge our equality and justice. That is very important to us. And this is area we discussed as GM Council, and we said, let us not base our system of government on ethnicity, on territorial, and also on self-governing the state. Not the state dictated from Juba by central government. No, a state where the rights are prescribed by law. And by law, that state has power of developing its own resources without prejudice to the national government, and has got a police, has got judiciary up to the level of appeal court, and they got what to do with the security as part of the national security run by a given state. That one give us all freedom, you see, to even get a place, you get from a will to Kapoita and you stay there, because people will be happy. And people will actually be thinking that they are the same people. This one does not come suddenly, by the way. To recognize one another is not easy. It was not easy in Europe. It has never been easy in China. You know how it was not easy with Soviet Union even. It is not easy now in the West, in the EU or United States. Still, there are people there who are not actually within the ruling group, and these things happen. They happen with people, but people use law to come together. So our feelings now, I'm saying it as one person, are that what can we do with this agreement? Do we derail it, throw it away? And if we throw it away, what can we put in place when we are all quarreling and not accepting one another? Will that not disperse us to our own districts where we belong? Some goes to Bargazal and go down to their own district and so on. Let us look at it concretely. And some people here in the opposition say Kir must go, the regime change. Which regime? The regime is no longer there. It has been changed by Khartoum Agreement. And it is a government, a coalition, transitional government moving towards elections to elect a leader of a given party. So the opposition that is still outside now is, for me, is in vain of the philosophy they are fighting for. Vain. What is it? What is the substance you want to derail? At least something you can hold on is this agreement. Because if you throw away this agreement now, I'm challenging anybody who has the replacement that can keep us together. Yeah, and they can, people who are talking in Equatoria, can they tell me that Thomas Rilo can hold South Sudan together? Can they tell me that there is somebody from Upper Nile, and Lama call otherwise, can hold South Sudan together? Can Aldo Ajou hold South Sudan together? We are all very, very much divided. We have no leadership like in Anyanya 1, like in SPLA. We have nothing. We have no leaders like that can get South Sudan together. So let us actually be careful and choose what we can say to our people now. And we see this government, if this government is not accepting what we are saying, we give it a pressure, our own pressure, that we want it. It is what we want, what that matters, all of us. فهنا ده I'm happy with Madud Anyar. Is he Michael or Wilson?
Michael Christopher.
With Michael, because the sage is that what can we do now? And we have to deny some people who want to carve out, who want to go their own. We cannot make it. We cannot make it. We have left the vacuum, the national vacuum. See? Unless we go in all together and we accept to negotiate tough all things, but with the for the country, we honor all of us if we want to maintain it as one country. See? This is the current thing I can say, because these current issues are very important to identify whether there is justification to continue with war, killing ourselves, when our people are dying alone. You might have heard of people who died in Christmas and New Year on the traffic in Juba, traffic only. 205 people died in Juba. Traffic, let alone the weaknesses, and leave alone COVID-19, if that is the cause of death. I am very pleased with this question on current issues. The mistakes we made in the past cannot help us now. See? We can only benefit from people who made a statement like Dr. Ajou and others in Africa, who actually predicted a future South Sudan independent with the government. What we shall do. John has said all this. These are the things we refer to them so that we build a togetherness in order to put the nation together, a nation where we belong, all of us. And we made the law in such a way that people adopt it. We cannot be the same with the United States. United States, there are slaves versus the masters. You see? And there are immigrants who are more important than other immigrants in the United States. And those who actually came Irish or English are more better than others in Europe. See, Latinos, for example. That is not. We don't have that one. We don't have, because we became independent. We spent 2 years on. We put down nothing. We are not able to do anything. And I would want you to focus really on current issues, and then check on peace that can bring us together. What can we do? Can we make our own peace? Can we call on all these parties to come together, account, reconcile, healing, and all that, and make a conference to bring them, all of them, so that they refrain again and drop the thinking of Khartoum, which is in their head. This thing cannot help us.
نشكرك كثير لتوضيح. بعدين يعني يبدو النظام الفدرالي في جنوب السودان جعل لسان دكتور ألدو كإحدى كبار مجلس أعيان الدينكا بأنهم يعني يعيدون النظام الفدرالي. النظام الفدرالي ليس نظام اثني يعني زي الموجود في اثيوبيا، واحنا بنعلم به ما يحدث الان في اثيوبيا، وبرضه بيأكد لكم انه مع السلام وبحاجه انه يناقش معكم يعني اليوم في قضايا مهم جنوب السودان، الوضع الراحل السياسي حاليا. وانا الان برجع المودريتور قبل ما نفتح الفرص للناس اللي فوق معانا هنا، بعد ذلك نفتح المساحه للناس اللي قاعد برضه عايزين يسالوا. استاذ مكير، اقوال and مايكل.
انا اعتقد انه ندي فرصه للضيوف، يعني احنا ندي فرصه للضيوف. استاذ شنكي عشان نطلع منه، عشان عمنا عبد ما يطول معنا.
لا جميل جميل جميل. خلاص هندي فرصه لجون وشانغ. جون وشانغ open your mic please.
Jonathan, are here? جوناثان شكله بعيد. ممكن نخش لليزا.
نعم.
ليزا.
تسلموا كثير أستاذ مكير مبين وأستاذ مايكل. أخونا تلار وأخونا ليديا، وبترحب كثير بأستاذنا الكبير وبروفيسور ألدو أجو. كل سنة وأنتم طيبين. وجنوب السودان عامة يكون طيب، وربنا يدينا العافية والصحة والوحدة لدولة جنوب السودان. أنا بعرف نفسي لكم. أنا اسمي ليزا موشي، مقيمة بدولة فرنسا. أنا جنوبية من دولة جنوب السودان بنت أخويا. مؤسسة منظمة اسمها SOS سود سودان بوبولاسيون اي كولتور في دولة فرنسا بمدينة ليون من 2017. منظمة بتتكلم عن العادات والتقاليد الموجودة عندنا في جنوب السودان، اللي هو عندنا احنا الدنكا والنوير والشلوك، اللي هو عادات بتاع الكوتش العود. العادات اللي أنا بحسبها عادات مريرة للمرأة الجنوبية. السؤال بتحتيه بيرجع للأستاذ والدكتور ألدو أجو، اللي هو يقود المرأة الجنوبية في جنوب السودان. السؤال بتاعي اللي هو يا أخوانا أنتم السياسيين، أنا منظمة غير منظمة سياسية، أنون جوفرنمنتال سوسيال بحقوق المرأة بجنوب السودان. ما أنا الوحيدة اللي بتكلم بمرأة جنوب السودان، لكن أنا مرة جنوبية ومن جنوبية، حقوقتي مرة جنوبية ودينكاوية في نفس الوقت، ودفعت كثير من الولادة، ضيعت راجلها، ضيعت أبوها، ضيعت أخوانا في حرب جنوب السودان. فأنا عايز أعرف منكم أنتم كلكم كمعارضة أو حكومة والناس الممثلين للحركة الشعبية الحركة الشعبية لتحرير السودان اللي هو SPLM، هيتشال زمن بقت ما عندها لا راس لا قعر لا كراع عشان نقدر نضمن لبعض نقول الناس اللي مرقوا جنوب السودان ورفعوا علم بتاع جنوب السودان. هل المرأة الجنوبية هتستمر طول حياتها من السبعينات لحد يوم الليلة إنها هي تبكي وتلدي وتدفن راجلها وولدها وأخوها وأبوها لحد 200؟ نحن بقينا عندنا دولة، أوكي، دولة الليلة اللي بقت سوق عالمي لإسرائيل، لأمريكا، لأوروبا، ما فيهم فرنسا، فيه بولوغي. يا دكتور ألدو أجو، أنت زول موجود في السودان وعامل هيبنة كبيرة في جنوب السودان. في والصين، فيه كثير من دول السودان، من دول العالم الموجودة الأكبر مننا نحن كلنا. من المعادن اللي عندنا المرأة الجنوبية ما لاقية مدرسة لعيال، المرأة الجنوبية ما لاقية ورشة إنها تقدر تشتغل فيها تأكل وتشرب عيال الأتايب في جنوب السودان. كل سنة وكل يوم وكل لحظة المرأة الجنوبية قاعدة تتحجر من منطقة لمنطقة. دولة الجنوب لما طلع عملنا دولة، قالوا جوبا عاصمة مؤقتة، ماشي من 2010 لحد حسه حاليا. دولة اللي هو العاصمة اللي كانوا قالوا عليها عاصمة بتاع رمكيال، اللي يمكن تكون عاصمة كبيرة تشيل جنوب السودان كلها بحاجاته وبناسه وبمعارفه وتقاليده ورسالة. ما بنيتوا ولا حتى أساس إنكم أنتم لما تمشوا بكرة ربنا يطول في عمركم، أوكي، ما بنيتوا ولا حتى أساس في عاصمة رمكيال اللي هي مفترض تكون عاصمة بتاع جنوب السودان. هل أنتم شايفين بالطريقة أنتم قاعدين تنادوا إنه الناس we come together، حتى لو كان إنجليزي بتاعي بسيط بتكلم فرنسي أكتر والعربي بتاعي برضه بسيط لعنه معظم فترة بتاعتي أنا عشت في فرنسا، لكن بحاول أفهم وأعمل دشفير الحاجات دي. فوين حق الشعب السوداني اللي جاي من وراكم، اللي هو حق أحفادك أنت يا ألدو أجو، يا دكتور ألدو أجو، أولادك أنت يا مبيل، أنت يا أستاذ ميشيل، أنت يا أخونا تلار، وأختنا ليديا. أوكي، اللي إحنا قاعدين في عاصمة بتاع جوبا عاملين مشاكل مع ناس استوائية، ما عايزيننا نحن كدينكا، ما عايزيننا نحن كنوير. أنا ليزا دينكاوية من الدينكا ونوير، وفيني ناس استوائية برضو في دمي، لكن أحلبها ناس استوائية قاعدين يرفضوني لحاجاتهم الخاصة. أنا ما عندي مشكلة، لكن أنا عايز أمرق من مدينة جوبا، ما داير أقعد في جوبا، داير العاصمة اللي هي اسمها عاصمة اسمها الرمتيال، اللي عملوا لنا من 2010 بالدي 3 إنه قالوا دي العاصمة بتاع جنوب السودان، وخلوا أي طفل جنوبي حتى المولد الجنوبي إنه يوم من الأيام حيحلم عنده عاصمة اسمها رمتيال. ليه أنتم ما عايزين تسووا المستحيل إنه العاصمة دي تتبني ونمرق من العاصمة اسمها جوبا؟ جوبا ضيقة، ما فيها أي منافذ غير المنفذ بتاعت. خلاص أنا حخلص، ما في مشكلة، حخلص هسه، أنا ما في مشكلة، صدقني دقيقتين أنا أخلص. فأنا سؤالي
أستاذ ليزا
خلينا أخلص بس. فأنتوا كناس ناشطين وسياسيين وألدس، أوكي، والناس اللي بيتكلموا عن حقوق الإنسان أو كيف إنه الشعب الجنوبي يتوحد، ليه أن إحنا ما نشوف لنا تركيز إنه نمرق من الورطة اللي إحنا فيها؟ عندنا مدينة موجودة، ليه ما عايزين نبنيها لأي شعب وأي شابة جنوبية جاي فيما بعد يفضل إنه كعاصمة موجودة ونمرق من جوبا عشان ما نكسر راسنا مع الناس دي.
تسلمي أستاذة ليزا. إذا أنت بتطالبي بترحيل العاصمة من جبل رامتيل، ده ملخص سؤالك. شكرا جدا.
نحن نمشي نخلي، انا شايف ندي دايره فرصه للجول ثاني. استاذ وشان جورشان تحت وفي دكتور لو فوق، بدي فرص 3-2 عشان استاذ الدكتور عبدو يديني اجابات واحده كده احسن. كيف يا جماعه؟
Thank you. Can I say now?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, my phone was went off. That is why I missed the opportunity of being first. But thank you so much. Thank you, Aldo, Dr. Aldo Ajou Deng Appoint, for coming and always engaging we, the young people. And thank you also for writing your book. Your book is already out, which is From Revolutions to Tragedy, the evolution of SPLM from 1983 to 2016. And the paperback, December 27, 2017. I think the price is $42.80. It is already out. So anybody can buy it from Amazon. And I think this one can help you also. That's a great work that you have done for yourself and to the people of South Sudan. And first and foremost, I would like also to give you thanks for coming always to the Clubhouse, engaging with the young people. It always say in my culture, it said that a community without elder, it is like a school without a library. So having you among us, we don't consider you as an elder of Dinka, but also an elder of South Sudanese, because we can learn a lot of things from you since 1960s. Some of the things even before we were born. And if we try to find out, we can even cross-check on you so that you can talk about it. But the discussion, I have seen also that you are young somebody focused on reconciliation, in which reconciliation is one of the driving motives. You try to make people to reconcile and to forget the past. So that courageous stand of yours will put you sometimes in the future to be a role model of peace in South Sudan. So I agree with you for acknowledging that what we did in the past was a mistake, and the mistake can be corrected by also telling the truth. I'm going to say here a few words. Of recently, you came to the Clubhouse and you said one of the words that we have put them in their disadvantage. The word we, who are they? The government or the group of Gen Council of Elders? We have put them in their disadvantage. And who are the people whom you put in their disadvantage? And the second question, do you support the peace? If yes, why not? Security arrangements. Why security arrangements become so difficult? And you talk more about the election instead of security arrangements. The other question, the third question is that many thinkers, young boys, when we discuss with them in Clubhouse, we point fingers on you as Gen Council of Elders, as people who are really behind all the crisis and the chaos in the country. Since you join and support the government, and some of the things also backed by your papers that you have written as Gen Council of Elders include those people of Makirtio, but the majority of our brothers from the Dinka said, no, the Gen Council of Elders are not representing them. These are just people who elect themselves just only for the sake of politics. They deny that you don't represent them. Are you, Gen Council of Elders, represent Dinka or represents who? We want to know. So that tomorrow when we're going to talk, we have to know that you, as members of Gen Council of Elders, you represent the community of Dinka. You said it before, but we want to hear more again. Are you representing the Gen Council of Elders? And in another way, you also say, in many occasions, you contradict sometimes by saying that you are not part of the government. At the same time, you are a minister, a member of parliament. In which ticket take you to be a member of parliament? The ticket of SPLA or the ticket maybe of Gen Council of Elders or being an elder? And last and finally, just want to say that why only you are interested only in elections, but you are not interested to other forms of security arrangements. So these are the questions that I ask you. And the other thing is also, the discussion will not end up today. We cannot overload you with a lot of questions because we are so much happy for you for always coming and engaging with young people. We are actually living in a country that is ethnic divide. We are not like before. But with the coming of people like you, and tomorrow also some Equatorians, some Nuer, I think we can rebuild like the country back again and regain our trust among ourselves. So the discussion will not finish. I have got a lot of questions that I had wanted to ask you, but I have to respect also the moderators and the audience, include yourself. So I will end up here, but maybe if there's any chance again, maybe I will ask again some questions. So these are my questions that I have asked you. I hope you put them down. Thank you so much. Thank you.
شكرا استاذ جون وشان، شكرا جدا لسؤالك. ونحن ندي فرصه اخيره للدكتور اولو، وبعد ذاك ندي الدكتور الدو يدي اجابه عامه، وبعد ذاك نجي راجعين للناس عشان عن الزمن يجي معهم. ونحن هنحاول نختصر في الاسئله في النقاش عشان ندي مساحه للناس ثانيين عندهم برضه وجهه نظر يا جماعه. شكرا جدا. والدكتور فرحه حبيت دكتور.
شكرا مايكل، شكرا للمودريتورز، وشكرا انكل الدو. I really appreciate his presence. لهذا وقت متاخر زي ده في عمره. انا ما هتكلم كثير، انا بس هعلق وهخش في الحاضر والمستقبل اكثر حاجه. Uncle Aldo said that they formed the JCE to support the SPLM-led government. For me, this was really a fatal mistake for elders like him who are members of political party, SPLM for that matter, to form a tribal group to support a politically based party. It would have been really better if you people form South Sudan elders from SPLM, from various tribes to support the government. But forming a tribal organization to support a party that belongs to all people of South Sudan was a grave mistake that led to polarization of our community because people saw that as the Dinkas are supporting Kir because he's their son. So that was a very big mistake from the beginning. Again, saying that you were not influential, I think that one is not quite correct because you people were very influential. Even the idea of dividing the country into 28 states was yours because I remember your chairman by then, Justice Ambrose Thick, had an interview with Al Mawqif Arabic newspaper and said the idea of dividing the country into 28 states, which was for them was 24 states, was theirs. So whom your job idea with dividing the country into tribal cocoons, the 28 states, the idea with a young council that was sold to Kir, and Kir implemented it in favor of Dinka in some states. That led to gerrymanderies of some counties in favor of the Dinkas and the states. So you people were very influential, and you were the one running the show by then. It is true, today you are not with the same strengths. Something happened, I don't know. Kir changed his mind because you people said you wanted him to step aside. So he hardly sees eyes with you these days. So you said that you did not participate in the peace process because you people think that Kir is able, is intelligent. Yet you contradicted yourself that you people during the CPA you consulted Dr. John, and you people were being consulted. Do you want to imply that Kir is more intelligent than Jongaram, who seek your opinion by then? Or what is it that you were consulted by then and not now? What is happening? The other thing is the issue of federalism. It is good that you said people are going for territorial federalism. That is what South Sudan needs, not tribal. But this is also contradict your earlier stand of dividing the country into tribal administrative units. Because how else can you implement territorial federalism, and yet you were calling for like a Gog state, for instance, and Ruang state, which are exclusively Dinka. So by so doing, you people are promoting tribal federalism, unlike some of us who even calls for only three regions.
Dr. Olo, if you can narrow down your message, please, your questions, because you have too many already.
I have too much.
Yes, you have 3 already, right?
Okay, because I thought I did not talk like the previous speaker.
No, the questions I'm asking you have 3 questions already.
Yes, some of them are comments, by the way, not. The last thing is about this agreement, the current agreement. I want Uncle Aldo to know that I'm in the thick of it. I'm one of the people who are implementing security arrangement. This agreement is not perfect, but it is the best thing that we have now in our hand. So we need to support it. This year, 2022 is crucial. We're supposed to conduct elections by the end of this year, but that thing seems to be very, 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 very difficult because some benchmarks were not met. My question to Uncle Aldo, if elections cannot be conducted by the end of this interim period, what can we do? In other words, if people are going for extension, on what terms? This is what people need to discuss, all these things, because some people are saying, okay, if we want to go to extension, it must be on condition that whoever will be part of the government will not run for the next immediate election. Thank you very much.
شكرا دكتور لو قبل ما العم والرمز السياسي يجينا ألدو قدرنا ننبه الناس انه حتكون ثاني نفس الحلقه دي حتقسم لجزئين او 3 اجزاء عشان احنا نصل لحوار متمدن نلقى اجابات كافيه لكل الناس وما عندنا اي مشكله نسمع راي اي زول لانه ما فينا نروح هنا صح مطلق يعني. فحندي الفرصه تيليو ممكن تدي العم عدو عشان يخش في اجاباته لانه بعد شويه حنفقد الصراحه يعني.
Yeah, Uncle Aldo, you have to accept. I invited you. There's a green bar there. Just press that one.
بدنا جونوشان ناس ولود اسئلتهم بتعصر الزول شويه كده يا جماعه عارفين انت لا لا نستفيد منه خبره يبقى تقوم بعصرونا زينا يا جماعه احنا الواحد يتعلم بالسؤالات انتوا جونوشان ده جينكم مشاكل ربنا يجيبكم خير خليه يجي بس بس في مشكله تقنيه بتواجه العام ألدو عشان كده بنحاول نساعده ويجي هنا يعني راعوا انه الجيل الاعمى مرحبا.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. I hope you got all the questions.
I thought I was going to start with John, but Dr. Willer, I will begin with him. In the first place, we supported the government, but the allegations that were raised on the Denka and JCE couldn't be avoided by us. And that what actually concerns us most, because the government could not. Are you hearing? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm hearing.
Okay.
We can hear you.
You okay?
Okay. Now, the government could not actually answer on our behalf because the Denka were the one accused to have caused the war and also accused to be running the government and also accused to have committed atrocities, even killing people. So I think we actually got fixed ourselves to answer some of the allegations that could not be answered by the government. And you know, as elders, no elder is chosen to represent people in the crisis. In the crisis, an able elder chooses to contribute to the best that can make things realistic. Dr. Rula has actually talked about the fact that we got involved and we were the one behind the 28 states. But sometimes that is how we doubt how sincere some of our citizens, intellectuals, and politicians are sincere. Because before the 28 came up, 21 states were already functioning in which was actually passed and done by SPLM-IO, by Young Machar. 21 states, up to now, the commissioners are functioning, governors. And we have not talked about it. For these 21 states were actually something that was moving inside the parliament when the war was not in. Up to 2012, people were talking about this. I'm sorry if our people claim that they were the one who did it, but the members of National Assembly were talking about all districts of South Sudan, which was picked and done by Riek Machar. So your accusation here is not true, Dr. Ullah. You need to find more surrounding this question of states. Now, after we concluded the national dialogue, and you know, Equatoria had their own conference, Barghazal had their own conference, and Upper Nile had their own conference. What happened in the conference of Upper Nile and conference of Greater Barghazal separately, they endorsed the 32 states. And in Equatoria, they actually came out with 39 states. So the whole thing, scenario about these states is so random, so much that it cannot be actually be in domain of Gian Council of Elders. If the Gian Council of Elders by politicians is not, if it is not which hand, then I don't know how they can actually get problems. We are not committed by the Gian Council to be things done by Gian Council. So I deny this one now. What you said, the complication that I support the government and the SPLM. I support the SPLM as SPLM is a party, but a party that can be supported by people of South Sudan. People. Now, if I read your name, I don't know whether you are low. I suspect. Yeah, there can be no a government without these communities supporting government. And you know, if you are actually shallow, you actually support the Mak. You have a kingdom, and nobody can actually say that. Why do you support the kingdom?
So you want to say Kir is like the king?
No. I'm not that thing. I'm not cheap like that. I cannot call anybody politician a king. I'm so much mature, so much that I cannot. Now, I'm saying the system that is you have in your own zone. This is what I'm saying. Now, saying that why do you support the government of SPLM and you are citing a name of a tribe? Although we are Denka is a nationality like the Luo nationality, and we are nationalities that compose the territory called South Sudan without shame. Now, I deny you from that this one is not correct. Going on what is very important, the question that is elections of 2023. Will election be run? I cannot.
In fact, it is 2022. It is 2022, end of 2022, according to that.
Now, I cannot say that this thing can be possible because up to the time I'm talking here with you, the national army is not formed. We have no national army now. And people are still in the cantonments and some are still outside. They have not come in. They are holding out. So the question of putting the security together in order to have a country with its own army, its own national army, the police, that is law enforcement agency, and domestic security maintenance, And ultimately, the judicial authority is not yet in order to do what? To enforce the law. Because in democracy, liberal democracy, you must have to enforce the law. And judiciary has to be independent. That things are still away. And then the blanket transformation we have said is very necessary because the laws we have, we took them from Khartoum, and some of them are working now as laws of South Sudan. We need more legislation in order to really own our own laws, because our own laws are geared to our own culture, are geared to our traditions, and we derive some legislation from our base of traditions of South Sudanese and Africans. We cannot take things literally from anywhere and try to make those laws ours. And you can make a treaty a law when you have signed it and you have passed it. Some agreement can become laws, but at the same domestic basic laws that govern the people have to be made. So what I want to say here, we are in 2022, and we are very far away from implementing this agreement. Now, we have just formed the parliament, and we have formed the state assemblies. And these state assemblies are not yet sworn in. And the national legislature is not organized in terms of specialized committees in order to deal with legislation properly. We have got a big people to come home. The refugees now are half our population, and they are not coming. The displaced inside are not moving away from UNIMIS. So I agree with you, and I have to say that let us think together and be positive, be sound, be very clear that what we are going to do and write our constitution and implement the constitution is a big job to do. And with the steps the unity government is doing and its own slowness, we expect this slowness to continue because these people have not agreed. Yani they are in their own tension. The physical world seems to be normal, although there are skirmishes there and there, and people are not working together. Our own leaders are not working together. They are still in tug of war, and this is we are afraid of that, and we have to also know it, and we have to address it, all of us. As we speak now, the house of IO is in turmoil. They are not saying one, and physically, they are using force to divide themselves. Not really politically peaceful. They are using force, and they have started to fight one another. What do we see that is if one partner is getting divided? How do we put it together? And how do they relate to others as political parties that are running government together? These are things we must actually see because they indicate that the agreement will not actually be implemented in the best way we can, so that we all see ourselves in the agreement. So, for your skepticism, I agree with you, because if today I say election can be done, unless something happens that you go for election and you defer the agreement in order the party that will win come back and implement agreement otherwise. how do we do it? I don't know. When we are actually in tension with one another. Faida, this is what I can say with Ola, and Ola has got more questions maybe, and I hope that at least I have tried to say something positive. I think what I can say from Dr. Ula. I go to John. John talk about peace and security arrangement, and then he quoted me that I talk about disadvantage of who, and I will simply say on peace and security, on peace and security arrangement, I think the same answer I gave to Ola can be John, I think, is listening. And this can be the answer because I'm also skeptical of how the parties are implementing this. Although I call for all Southerners to agree, see, to disagree, and to resolve the problem that is bothering our country. For the disadvantage, I don't know how I said it because I might have said it, but on what exactly the advantage? Because as we speak now, our own country has no advantage. As one country now, we have got a problem. There are a lot of disadvantages facing us. Whether this is suffering of people, whether this is how politicians are conducting themselves to commit to agreement, or how we are actually seem to end up in hopelessness, because our hopes are really in a difficult situation, because the agreement in which we have agreed is not covering, is not actually being owned by our own people. They are skeptical. So I think, John, if you agree with me, what I said about security arrangement, and what I said about this peace, and what I said about elections, and how people feel can be the answer for you. Now, I go to Madame Lisa. Madame Lisa, I am really very sympathetic with women of South Sudan, because I have learned more about the women of South Sudan in the two struggles, Anyanya 1 and the SPLA. How they continue really to keep families, and how they tried as refugees in Khartoum and in Africa and abroad to educate some of the children who are talking here now. And most of them, maybe John, Ula, and the rest of you are included. These are the bringing up of women of South Sudan in a very difficult situation. So, Madame Lisa, I am a sympathetic person to our women, and they have proved now the population of women are the ones fighting for peace. Fighting for peace, the women are not divided. They want life to return to South Sudan. And as you have put it, the really suffering that they underwent with women and the way they have managed to this stage, it takes me to say that our women are great. And do you know what happened? Now in the parliament, we have the parliament of 650. The women who are with us now can suggest a way out. And when you actually equate with men, some of the men join these parties in order to gain parliament and gain position and becoming ministers without knowledge. They are not like these young men who are talking with me. Some of them do not know how to read and write, but they have joined this maximum of parties, and they are accommodated in the whole package of peace. And I want to encourage you to continue the fight for the rights of women, and because you women are strong, you add the rights of also men, the orphans, the disabled, and all this. It is actually the women that can take care. And do you know, with all the crisis of corruption, our women are not corrupt. And the love of a human being is actually among the women. And the love, the cry, and really feel bad, honestly and faithfully. The man, I'm not really saying the generation, there is more for them. John and Ula, there is more for you to put yourself together. Because we elders are in the doubt whether you will have one day a leadership of South Sudan among you. Because you are getting more divided and you are not thinking of your own classmate, schoolmate, your own age mate, that a friend of you can do better than you. And this is what you used to do in the past. That is why we were together, in our generation. Now, I only have to say to thank Madam Lisa, and I want your voice to penetrate so that women get solidified and actually get to advocate for South Sudan and all the people of South Sudan, by the way. You can be a big pressure. And if you can take along with you the youth, this country can change. And these are the people affected, and these are the people who are the majority in the society. And they are the one actually suffering more than we who have children and with our age feel bad how we are now, many of us have gone, and we are actually going, and we are seeing what is happening here for these young people and how they will survive even not only COVID-19, but the situation of South Sudan, and the crisis of war, the poverty, the lack of food, and say anything. If you can see children here in the street, and you weep, by the way, because they are on their own. Mothers and fathers are there, but they have no income. They have nothing. And they are not cultivating as we used to be. So, with all your coverage, I have totally to declare that I agree with you, Lisa. But you expand, not only women, expanding. And I'm with you here to see how we can be together. I know I can talk with elders like me. I can talk with those who are actually 50s and so on, those who have land and even better than our time. And I am saying all this, let us put together. These figures, Denka, Nuer, and everything is not going to earn us any way forward. It takes us actually to square one, to nothing, as if we are not educated. Let us pull ourselves out. And I am declaring that I actually, with all the JC, I'm not dedicated to affairs of Denga, by the way. I am much more thrust into the life of South Sudan as it used to be. South Sudan fought by everybody, by all of us. So let us try to accommodate ourselves in a constitution and see ourselves together. And after that, all our problems will be eliminated by deploying democracy and the rule of law in the country. And we can eliminate some bad customs that are coming up. But I don't see that we are the same like the whites. The mistakes against humanity done by white people, and they are still doing them now, cannot be compared with Africans. Africans yani, are the best. Although what happened in Rwanda and what happened wherever, like South Sudan, all are coming by the way of our former colonizers. We have not rid ourselves from neocolonialism and imperialism. Anna, I cannot answer your question perfectly, but I try to go around them, and I think this is what I can say. And my concern is, let us concentrate on current issues, and let us actually debate one another, tough and hard, by telling the truth, by trying to accommodate ourselves, and by trying to keep our country together. You are not the same people. Nobody is desperate among South Sudanese, and no one now is saying that let us actually fragment this country. People are saying that let us begin a system, federal system, from 3 states to anything. Forget the states you are talking about and blaming the people. This is, for me, it ends us nothing new for this. This goes back to history. History is a recorder of bad things, good things, and whatever it is. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Aldo, for your answer. I think Michael, you want to excuse yourself?
انا بس كنت احنا عشان
مايكل
اختلفنا كثير
يا
عم عنده قاعد معنا كثير جدا جدا، ونحن اصلا عندنا حلقه بكره مواصله للحلقه دي، يعني فنحن حنحاول نلخص نشوف انجلو واستاذه حكمه واستاذه ياسمين في 3 دقائق او 2 دقيقتين عشان نلخص، يعني عمنا عنده برضه ياخذ راحته ايضا.
خلاص جميل. علي صوتك شويه انجلو، علي صوتك شويه.
ثانك يو لدكتور ألدو. أنا بتكلم في جهات قصيرة. طبعا زي ما هو اتكلم قبل، اتكلم بصفته عضو في الجين كانسل، اتكلم كعضو في البرلمان، أمين ده الصفة بتاع البرلمان، الصفة بتاع الجين كانسل، and then كعضو في National Liberation Council. وأنا ما فهمت غلط. رغم انه مرات بيكون في مواقف شخصيه، بيكون له اراء شخصيه بتكون ما بالضروره تكون متفق مع اتجاه الحكومي. So which sometimes يعمل confusion انه ده راي بتاع الجين كانسل ولا ده راي شخصي، وهنا بتكون في تناقض. يعني انا داير اساله، هل في constitution مثلا للجين كانسل of elders اللي بيحدد العمل بتاع التنظيم ده عشان ما يعمل interference في politics، ويكون في رأي شخصي مثلا كزول سياسي بعد شوية يتحاسب الرأي بتاع الجين كانسل؟ هل في constitution ينظم الكلام ده؟ That is one. and I'm not forgetting the role bitam contribution bitam in supporting the government, but this is my question because we have been defending also and finance بيقولوا ده بيمثل جين واي حاجه قالوها او statement او قالوا ده معناته ده جين او قاعد يعمل فبيستهدف الجين عبر جين council. So we want him to clarify this one. The second thing is according to his book هو بيتكلم عن الفيلير بتاعت movements when they go to حكومة هم بيفشلوا. انت تحسب انه الاسبله مثلا فشلت كواحد من الاحزاب اول movement in South Africa, and what are the factors الحاجات اللي انت لقيتهم حسب الريسيرش بتاعك حسب كتابك, what are the investigations اللي انت لقيتهم؟ شكرا جزيلا.
شكرا جدا استاذ انجلو. استاذ هيلينا في دقيقتين 3 دقائق عشان الزمن.
اوكي شكرا كامرين مايكل وانجلو ومكير and Dr. Aldo Ajou. This is me, Madam Helena, Comrade Helena Philip Ater. أنا هخش في سؤالين. Anyway, there is a lot of questions already been raised up and Dr. already answered them. I'm so glad to see you back again today because in the ناس اللي بيعملوا noise the real anointing one of them is John. أنا متأكد جون بعد شوية هيمشي يفتح عليه روم ويلا يمشي يلخبط حاجات كله يقول والله دورت وكنت you are beating the bush and all this stuff. I hope يكون فهم كتير. سؤالي الأول أنكل دكتور جو. I was just want to raise up, maybe nobody raised that question up, maybe because I was up and out and come back. How many of non-council elders in South Sudan included young elders? How many of you in South Sudan that are non-council elders, or only is going to be only young council elders in South Sudan? Is the one question. The second question, according the way they design the parliament, I don't really know because we know here in Western world here I'm in US, that any appointees will come according to state level, how majority is. But I don't know in the parliament how many of you guys and the parliament came from 10 states that are appointed in a national level as a state, or the appointed them are basic of tribe ethnic group. When I say is basic according to tribe group, like member or just according to the community member to be in a parliament to represent the family or a community. So how many of you guys right now in Northern Barghazal, particular in Dinka state areas, how many from each state have to be nominated by their people to be in a parliament? Those are the only question. I hope if you understand me, that's the only question I need to ask. Thank you.
شكرا سيستا هيلينا كومرسيلنا لسؤالك. أستاذة ياسمين آخر فرصة لك. نساوينا خط فرص كثيرة لنا. قلت الرجال. ياسمينة. في شكله معانا نمشي لأنكل ألدو عشان ندي إجابات. أفتح المايك أديله لأنكل ألدو عشان نختم معنا. قلت لي أفتح المايك.
ما عندنا إمكانية هنا. أنا ما أعرف. Okay, let me try to bring him by the audience. Colombo has sent you the invitation to come and answer the questions.
لا في هجوم على الغرفة عموما اوكي.
Yes
في هجوم على الغرفة وفي شكله كم تقريبا ترفع.
Yes.
Now, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
I have the questions here. One is from Aldo Ajou. And Angelo talk about the failures, which I talk about. The failures I was referring to I would need you to repeat the question, Angelo. Can you?
I think we have to bring him up. Hang on a second, I'll bring him up.
Yeah. Angelo is here, right?
Yes, Angelo, you can repeat the question, please.
Yes.
Just put the question.
Gen Council as an organization. I expect because the constitution. Sometimes like in the interview, Matian Shirilo, you were about the federal system when it states the state that Jalava Zaman like your federal system is a strong emphasis like another opinion with a different organization. That one is a political issue. So I observe it like the council is also talking about political issues, while it is not.
Okay,
it is a non-political.
Yeah.
So one about the constitution, is there a constitution? Yeah. So Tani can kitab. Yeah, about your book. You talk about the failure of men's in Africa. Then I said SPLM.
Exactly.
If it's categorized as they fail the movement.
Yeah.
Exactly. Is there any investigations and what are they?
Okay.
Allow if she keep up that was.
أنا أول حاجة الconstitution بتاعت JC is there. Unfortunately, this constitution does not talk about what can be done for Denka or anything against other ethnicities. It's completely concentrated on the conflict that brought war in 2013, 2018, this war, because of the campaign that was overwhelming to us. And by the way, we pick it up with an extreme emotions of what was going on, especially with the foreigners in the UN, and like Elder Johnson, who also decided to defect from her job as running the unionists. And we actually confine it to this and concentrating always of what we can do, lot of it, what we can do to bring peace. Can we go on like this? And then we answer also Why Denka and not others? And that is our yearly concentration on this. The failure of African governments, if you check on the African governments that actually came by arms struggle and liberation movement, you can get only Angola successful by setting its own infrastructure only by using oil, and all the fundraising conferences intended by the West that they will raise funds for infrastructure in all the countries, including South Africa, you know of Mozambique, and you know of all these countries, including Uganda or Rwanda. Those funds never came. What came to our countries all are NGOs who actually come in and claiming to do something, claiming to fight for human rights, and claiming actually to see that they are involved in services without approval of the government, because NGOs in Europe or United States don't interfere with the government responsibility unless there is a gap in the government budget that they can fill to do it, and they are given, is approved by the government, that so and so organization will do this and that. But here in Africa, they are all over everywhere. In form of what? In form of collecting the wealth in the country, all this, and also placing intelligence on our governments, and they are reporting as if they are part and parcel of us. This one is and the failure of our government. They toe the line of the West and those who actually colonized them, and all of them have failed, including South Sudan. And you will find that in my book as the big thing, that we have failed to deliver anything, to maintain security and all that. So this failure of Africa is what we say significantly. What is it? Is it something in our blood? What is it? And then people out there, they come and talk about corruption in Africa, when they are more even corrupt and more unjust to some of their societies. But they come and tell us like this. So this is the answer I can give you. And for Michael,
Helena.
For Eleanor says, how many of you were elected here? And how many elders in the organization of JCE? When we started there were many with us, but the same groups are found in where they've got elders group, and they speak bluntly about Denka and others. It's not like us. You find a high committee in Bari is speaking. And what they do, they actually design their thing against others. They are different from us. In Western Equatoria, you find Western Equatoria with one. There are one. I don't know now when Balanda is saying something in Western Equatoria, but Western Equatoria has got one also. And these are people who are very polite. They raise their issues properly with the responsibility. They don't concentrate on others too much because Zande by their own, they are known to have no answer of no or yes, but they know the right thing and the bad thing among themselves, and they don't aggress others. So it is not we alone in South Sudan. It is more higher, even with Chola. Don't let them talk like that. With Chola and the law are really known people who really work for themselves. They are our cousins, but they must know that we know that what they do is for their own selves. The same thing they are doing in Kenya is what they are doing in South Sudan. You see, to claim a government in the ticket of a party that is full of law. They can deny it, but this is, with the Denka, we are very much divided. You see? And we don't easily get along with, we are not together really, like the law. So, Elena, all this South Sudanese, this is where they are more engaged now than the national forum. They are not ideas, their ideas shrink back to their communities, and they have actually deserted the national forum, and this is a danger to our country. Unless there is another area for Michael. Michael, did you speak? Did you say something?
يا ما في حاجه بس عندنا نحن انتهينا خلاص بس
Oh, it was Helena.
هلنا
Okay.
استاذ جونشان عنده مداخله صغيره ومنها هنختم عن صحتك يعني.
Okay.
هلنا اجابه كان كويسه يعني. استاذ جونشان.
Yeah, thank you.
Jonathan,
for giving me the last chance, and I wrote actually for you for that. I will go direct to the questions. Besan it means Wal, Alander Nasal Aldo. Dr. Aldo Ajou. Okay. I will give you one, but next time you have to come, we will give you more. Okay. So why you have mentioned that you have got elders all over South Sudan in those communities. Why is it that the Gen Council of Elders are the only people having influence to the government? In one of your letters, according to your manifesto, that you have written as Gen Council of Elders, what you have written there reflect on the ground. It reflects really in the ground. The issue with land displacement and all of this, even issue of domination of the army, promotion of many officers from the Denga community, it is in your manifesto, in which we will still discuss it more. So this is the question. Why is it that the Gen Council of Elders are the only people being listened to by the governments of South Sudan? And then the last question, please. The last question. The last question. Aldo is a very professional person. He's a doctor. I believe he will understand it. The last question, Mr. Aldo, that I want to ask you is that why the Gen members, many Gen members are saying that you are not represented. But you did not answer my question of what I say. Are you representing Gen or you are representing who? Thank you.
Okay. Now, Michael, my son, first of all,
شكرا جدا استاذ
Johnson. Now, Inta, أول حاجة, let me tell you that I am actually born from father and mother as a Denka. My language is Denka, and that is my tongue from the beginning. Number two, my constituency since 1967 is a Denka, pure Denka constituency. And they have all the time been electing me like others. Because in South Sudan, if somebody tells you that he has a constituency from graduates or whatever, that is not true. Because all of us come from community constituencies, and that is me. Now, with what you have said, that we have got a manifesto, you know, many documents have been forged for us and signed for us by several people, including people who are against Denka. And I think even some people have gone as far as plagiarizing the European kind of document of taming people, doing away with people, and so on, things we never wrote. You know, the campaign was very high and highly organized against the Denka. Now, that is what we wanted to answer. And I'm telling you, any young man saying that Aldo does not represent us is a liar, because I have a constituency. And I have been actually elected for 50 years. Where do I come from? I come from a constituency and given a vote by Denka. How can somebody who has never tested whether he is popular or has got a base as a Denka and elected tell that it does not represent us? Who is he? I'm actually elder, and I can speak even for the name of our country, South Sudan, because 50 years is not small. For somebody who has been in politics for 50 years and safe, because politics is a very dangerous art, by the way, and to tell me that Aldo Ajou do not represent us, and in crisis where the Denka is targeted, I can call that person a coward. He's not telling the truth. Somebody deceiving others and telling others that he's not the one doing this, is against that one. Then what is his identity? If you don't have your basic identity, then you are nowhere. You are no person. You must actually have the basic identity, and you move towards national identity, shared value of all the people that belong to that country, because that country is not you alone. But some of people who are denying their identity, we cannot condone them. Even if we talk in South Sudan to put our constitution together, you would tell me saying this. And I am actually among the some elders in Denka or Nuer or the Luo. I'm a person who have actually a fan of federalism. I believe in federation. And I believe in the fact that people diverse can build a strong country. Diversity can give birth to very strong people, because they have fixed themselves, they have fixed their affairs, they have shared their values, and they become strong. The strongest countries are people whose values have been shared by all the nationalities that compose the country, by the way. And that's why I cannot shy away from being a Denka, Johnson. And if you want me to disown Denka, you should do the same. If you are from Bari or you are from what, you do the same. You disown your own community. Why don't you disown it? Why do you talk for your community and you feel that others cannot cite their community? And if they cite their community, they are guilty. Why not all are guilty if we want to move? So, and don't pose more nationalists than us. That you are more national.
No, I don't disown you,
we have actually shown that practically, and by fighting for 50 years, we know the way we fought the war together, and no one can actually belittle another when we fought for 50 years. That thing is there written, and it is our history, and it is a strange history which actually is indicated by historians. They know what we are. To say at the end that any of us is no use because you speak of how can you feel if you are in a place of Denka and this propaganda that people who are guilty are the Denka only, and the rest in the rebellion are not guilty? How can those who have violated the law, violated the constitution, and the went for violence are not guilty, except people who are peaceful, who have never seen a gun? Yani, is that fair for you people? We are out here to answer and also compromise. We cannot let down. And this is what I have to tell you. Your elders are afraid of us. Why are they afraid? They are gossiping and they don't tell the truth. They are not like us. They insult us in absence, but we don't insult anybody. We actually tell the truth what we are and why we are angry. So Thomas Rilo must show why he's angry. It is weak for him to say that I'm fighting Denka and Nuer. This is weak politics. A politician cannot say such a thing. You fight for the country and the interest of your own people. Advocate your own people and fight for them. You cannot say you are fighting. That is a very dangerous for anybody. Yani, for example, yani, you come from your own community and you want to declare war against the other community. That will be outside the state power. It will not be a problem of the government. It will cool down to a problem between the communities. And that fight is a bad fight. It's not good. So I advise you, next time, don't repeat JCE. You convert to advocate peace and unity in diversity. Thank you.
شكرا العم والرمز السياسي ألدو أجو لزمنك. احنا رجعناك زمن طويل لورا، زي انت قاعد في مؤتمر 47 او مؤتمر المعلم السفيرة. شكرا لزمنك.
ايوه.
ونحن نتمنى تكون معنا دائما عشان نستفيد منكم. كان في اخطاء بتاعتكم حنوريكم، وفي اخطاء بتاعتنا حتورونا. يا ريت المسلمين يكون اللي قدام. فانا بقول لك شكرا. واستاذ اقوال ممكن تقدم ملخص وتشكر الناس اللي في الستيج، ونحن حنستمر يا جماعه في الحوار مع عمنا ألدو، واي رمز من رموز الوسان حنستضيفه هنا عشان نستفيد كلنا. يعني هو اخذ من زمنه، وان شاء الله بكره وبعد بكره حنعمل حلقه ثانيه. نعتذر للناس اللي تحت ما لقوا فرصه، عشان يعني صعب في الزمن ده ندي عمنا ألدو اكثر من 7 ساعات من زمنه. يعني اقوال مرحبا بك.
وده أقوال
مهم جدا دكتور ألدو أجو. يعني اليومين دول في كلاب هاوس عندنا مشاكل قبليه منتشر بصوره ما عاديه جدا جدا. انتوا كناس في برلمان وناس في حكومه، يعني وناس برضه في نفس الناس اللي بينشروا الكراهيه دول عندهم كلام في روما. فانتوا هناك في المركز داخل هناك، انتوا نظرتكم للجماعه دي شنو؟ يعني الناس انتوا بتتفاوضوا معاهم في روما، وهم يعني بينشروا كراهيه في الكلاب.
ما خير ما علينا، خليه في الحلقه بتاعت بكره احسن يديك اجابه يعني عشان الزمن.
بس دي ملخص بسيط. ده كلام
احنا ختمنا.
مسير التسجيل حيجيب، لانه
التسجيل حيجيب يا جماعه. التسجيل للمعلوميه المدريته، للمعلوميه اي تسجيل بتجاوز 4 ساعات ما بيسجل. نحن قلنا نقوم بالتسجيل السنه دي يعني. فمعلش مكير، الاجابه دي حتكون في حلقه بكره ان شاء الله.
اوكي.
نعم أنا ما عندي إضافة.
أنا يعني كلامي الأخير، نحن هسه بنتكلم conversation زي بسيط، لكن ده ما بسيط، لأنه we highlight on issues, national issues. وبعدين these national issues are deadly. They are issues of humanity, and they are important. أنا دايركم يكون في تركيب جديد، يعني يختار الارياز بتاع national interest، وبعدين نجيب ناس مختلفة، ناس اللي بيختلفوا on issues and we discuss. يعني ده يمكن هيدينا آراء مفيد، يمكن نستفيد من آراء زي ده. لكن يعني if we dwell طوالي على تاريخ فيه، لكن الآن the current issues call on us to focus on this. Into ما صغار، into يعني you are actually at the age of proper activity. You can be actually hot leaders that can put the country together. You ما تفتكر أنه أنتم صغار، يعني بعد 50 سنة ده شنو؟ يعني you people are very mature. يعني from 21 years لقدام ده دول ما يفتكر انه هو صغير. نحن we have learned United States UK ناس كبار بيعملوا شنو؟ لما نيجي جيل جديد هم في البرلمان بقعد ورا، they go back. كان prime minister he's still in the parliament بقعد ورا هناك. يعني ويعلم they are willing the power but they are supporting them. ده كلام المفيد. فنحن بدينا بمسيد لكن نوسع عشان نجيب sometimes big politicians that on this and bring them together. ده اسمه ده وده اسمه ده اللي يقول كلامه.
احنا هسه جبنا له قبل شويه اكبر ريب جونشان اخونا اكبر ريب وجبناه هنا. اسمع
اي والله اي ده ما بسيط. ده لو وسعته نحن هنا جوا هنا ما عندنا. وبعدين كلام إلى نقبين أنه أنتم شنو بتمثلوا شنو؟ نمثل أحزاب هسه. كل حزب في حكومة كون له نواب ده مجموع بتاعنا SPLM وIO مثل IO كله زي ده. This is what we are now. بعدين الاختيار ما بكفي الكونستيتنسيز ده وايد شوية وهذا ده كبير. فالقصة is an experiment. الاكسبيرمنت ده بتاع جنوب السودان ده بنجح.
شكرا جدا عمل عنده تيليو.
Yes.
عشان احنا ممكن تدي ملخص وبعد تدي مكير يلخص يكون روم وكولا يعني.
لا جميل اولا اشكرك استاذ مايكل ومكير وليندا اخوان and of course Dr. Aldo استاذ الكبير. honor and privilege to share the podium with you Dr. Aldo. I hope we will see you next time before the time, and also we kept you awake. Now it's too late back home. It's probably 5 o'clock in the morning. So I will stop here and pass the mic to Brother Makir. Great.
شكرا جدا تيليو. شكرا جدا عبرك الدكتور ألدو. شكرا جدا لجون وشان تحيت ودكتور ألو وأليزا وهيلينا وكل الناس اللي شاركوا أنجلو وكل الناس اللي بستيج تحت باله طويل معانا. نعتذر للناس اللي ما قدرنا نطلعهم فوق. قدروا الزمن يا جماعه عشان عمال ألدو ياخذ راحته شويه عشان بيهمنا بكره بعد بكره. نتناقش كثير يعني. استاذ مكير انا حنزل لحد هنا، اشكركم واقوال شكرا جزيلا، اكيد شكرا جزيلا. انا حنزل عشان اقوال تختم الروم او مكير.
اوكي شكرا لكم جميعا. الروم ممكن ادخل انا، لكن انا ممكن اكون كده اقول كلامي كمان حتى الروم اخر كلام اقوله بس الروم.
تمام. انا عايزه اوضح حاجه واحد قبل ما اتكلم، انه انا قبل فتحنا روم، انا كنت الفاتحه روم حصل هجوم يعني في الروم، انا ما قادره القى الروم خالص في التايم لاين هنا في كلوب هاوس. قدر ما حاولت من جبال اني اخش يعني دون جدوى بلا فائده. فانا دخلت بحساب اختي، ده اكونت بتاع اختي عشان اقدر اسمع واتابع يعني كنت في محاولات من جبال. الشيء الثاني
ثانك يو سوزانا.
اخواننا الحاجه دي ما كويسه نقعد نعمل تطبيقات في روماتنا، يعني ما بتفيدنا في شيء، ما حاجه ايجابيه. دي حسب رايي الشخصي ما كويسه. فانا بتمنى انه الناس اللي بتعمل الحاجات دي، احنا بنجيب الدكتور ألدو أجو بنجيبه كرمز سياسي، احنا ما بنجيبه عشان هو واحد من الجين كونسل او بنجيبه عشان واحد من ضمن الحركه الشعبيه الSPLM. قبل كم زمن اول ما ده كلاب هاوس استاذ تيلي عمل معه حوار في مجموعه روم نمتو، ده كان بيمثل هناك الدينتا. نعم ما في مشكله. الحوار الثاني عمله في كاميرا هلت، ده كان الحركه الشعبيه لتحرير السودان. الليله احنا جبنا الاستاذ القيادي الدكتور ألدو أجو، جبناه كواحد من ابرز القيادات السياسيه في جنوب السودان وكرمز سياسي، انه نجي نتكلم معه نتحاور معه قضايانا، تصحيح الحاجات الخاطئه، المفاهيم الكعبه، القبليه المنتصره هنا بالذات في الكلوب هاوس. ده الهدف، ما بيجيبوا عشان هو مننا ولا عشان هو ديكاوي. الحاجه دي ما صح. ده اللي حبيت اوضحه، وانا حكيت كثير. انا حديك المايك وبشكر الحضور الكريم اللي كانوا معانا من جبال في الروم، مشكورين جدا، وحنكثف الحوارات في الفترات الجايه باذن الله تعالى. كاميرا مكير المايك معك. شكرا كاميرا مايكل.
Thank you so much.
شكرا لك كاميرا بطول، ونشكر برضه اخيرا الدكتور ألدو أجو، يعني القيادي التاريخي الكبير والحرم السياسي بالنسبه لجنوب السودان. والان الزول اللي ما داير ألدو أجو يمكن في الروم هنا بكون عرفه اليوم قبل اليوم، يعني الرجل بيكتب للسلام، بيحاول يساعد الشباب، لذلك الان هو الساهر معنا الليالي يقدر يساعدنا قدر الامكان. فالكلام اللي بيقولوا معنا لحد الساعه 2 صباحا 3 صباحا هو يعني عشان نحن نستفيد، نحن جيل واعد عشان نستفيد، وعشان هو يقدم لنا المساعده. لذلك يعني هو رجل يعني شجاع، وقال حتى يعني خلوا الزول يسالي السؤال اللي يساله بدون ما يخاف، هو برد. لذلك فتحنا روم مفتوح ورده، وفي ناس اقتنعوا ويعرفوا فعلا الكلام كان في راسهم، هو كلام مخلوط وكلام ما موضوعي. ونحن يعني حقيقه متشرفين تماما بالدكتور ألدو أجو، ونتمنى يعني في اللقاءات القادمه بانه برضه يحاول يعني يورينا الكثير. ولكن اسفين يعني للاسف شديد نحن اخرناه وسهرنا به في الكلاب هاوس، والان بندي الفرصه عشان يمشي ياخذ راحته. ونعتذر لك برضه، انا بعتذر لك يعني شخصيا كمكير ونيابه عن الاخوه الاخروك ولحد الزمن ده. اعفي لنا يا انكل الدكتور ألدو أجو، فعلا لازم نستفيد منك يعني. لذلك نحن نجيبك عشان في حاجات نحن كشباب ما بنعرفه يعني عبرك انت يعني. انا بشكرك يعني للكلام ده، وهنقرا الروم بعد يعني. شكرا لك.
شكرا لكم مكير. انا سعيد جدا، وانا فاهم الاريا. I'm interested, and that's why we have to spend a long time, because الموضوعات ذاته يعني الموضوعات very current and penetrating، يعني دول ما بخلي عن كلام. فأشكركم، and then you take it from me. أنا معكم طوالي، لو زاد عدد وكلام يعني ممكن we can do something. Thank you very much for all this. شكرا لكم.
شكرا.
قبل ما تختم دقيقة بس، هنتخاصم، هنتشاجر، حنتصالح، حنتراصف صفوف وصفوف، حنتجاوز خلافاتنا، حنتقابل بدون أحقاد، والبيناتنا في الماضي يبقى أساسنا لبكرة. دي دعواتنا أجيكوا هنا، وطن ما زول عشان ما تبقى تتعصب، وطن ما زول عشان ما تبقى تتعصب. وطننا حبيبنا رغم البيت، رغم البيت هي الأشواق، هي الأشواق. شكرا جزيلا للحضور الكريم.
شكرا للكلمات الجميله اللي اخذت كله. بعد ده اخوانا تصبحوا على خير. هندخل الروم على طول. شكرا لكم.
Thank you guys, for those of you who are watching at Lagos State Media, Facebook and YouTube. Thank you for coming in and listening in for Dr. Aldo Ajou. For those of you who are wondering that why Uncle Dr. Aldo Ajou came in Clubhouse and speak, is because, you know, there were a serious allegation going on in social media among South Sudanese, special opposition. They have accused JCE in a way that labeled them and tied the JCE with the Dinka community, which bring a division and confusion among the community, among South Sudanese in diaspora especially. And this is where some of us bring him into Clubhouse, because Clubhouse is an easy place. So it's not like a Facebook sometimes, but Clubhouse is a good place. So that's why we bring in Uncle Dr. Aldo Ajou to respond to those accusations against JCE. And those you speaking, we brought him, this is the third time in the Clubhouse. So that is the reason. For those of you who are wondering why Uncle Joe is speaking out, that's the reason why. Because there's accusation. Even there's a book or booklet that one of the a lady wrote it, and that booklet, the opposition are using that, and there's a lot of serious accusation that can bring insecurity and division among South Sudanese. So, and those are not true. That's why we bring him to Clubhouse, so that he can answer for himself. Because we try so hard to explain to South Sudanese, but they cannot listen to us. They think that the reason why we come out, we are defending JCE because we are a Dinka or because we are a government supporter. So that's when we say, okay, well, we are not here to respond to protect or to defend Young Council of Elders. So they have their own mouths. They can come out and speak. So that's where Dr. Aldo Ajou come out and respond to all has been said. The article has been written in social media, in the media, and all video live have been done. Clubhouse, Facebook, you name it. You guys follow this. You guys know what I'm talking about. So that is the reason. One of those people, like my friend right here, or one of the followers of Lagos State Media, Equatorian Awil, which is this is one of examples that I'm showing you guys. So these people are just doing a propaganda in social media, which doesn't make sense. The question that this guy just raised, Equatorian Awil, you know the reason why, because the city is not moved from here. So if you are a South Sudanese and you are living in South Sudan or diaspora, you know South Sudan, when did South Sudan got independent? 2011, after 2011. What happened after 2011? South Sudan got into war, fighting itself. So how the city can be moved around here while people are the country is fighting? So my friend Victorian, just stay away from negative. Let's talk together. South Sudan belongs to us all. So that's what I will answer your question. So for those of you who are watching, thank you so much. And we will bring more. Not Dr. Aldo Ajou will be we will bring more elders and the leaders so that they can respond to those allegations. Because opposition, we are in 2022. This is If you like South Sudan to be let us live together, please bring people, let us have a unity and peace among ourselves. Stay away from division and hatred. So thank you so much for watching Lagos State Media. We will see you next time. If there's another breaking news going on, you know Lagos State Media always come up live and bring those information to you, and you South Sudanese can judge. So thank you for listening. Have a new year. Have a good night. Have a good day. Have a good evening. Peace.
It's your boy Young Ajou that thing. Control like stay the Panchi America. Panji dual ban control like stay the Panchi America. Panji dual ban walk on the lake and car water no watching. Oga level like gear power like Panda with ya Panchi America. Panya dual ban no chingatongo pandon kujura by a check. Paku panda juru what ya Panchi America, Panji Dual, Pan Legacy.